Before we start, I'd like to first welcome my first subscriber. Thank you. It means a lot knowing that somebody's actually watching this thing. Now, on with the show. So, you might have noticed that I referenced the Fantastic Four quite a bit on this show. There's a good reason for that. The Fantastic Four are one of the cornerstone series in the Marvel Universe. They've had great adventures of their own, and their book has introduced many new characters. Black Panther, the Inhumans, the list goes on and on. So, it's no surprise that after 3 previous cracks at a film version, that someone would try yet again to make a movie of the Fantastic Four. And then Fox drops a trailer on us. But to understand why this is a bad thing, we need a little history. You see, kids, once upon a time, Marvel was bankrupt. In order to survive, it had to sell off the movie rights to many of its more popular characters. Sony bought Spider-Man, while Columbia got their mitts on Ghost Rider and the Punisher. Fox bought Daredevil, the Silver Surfer, Everything X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. And for some strange reason, Universal had the Submariner. New Line Cinema had Blade, and from what I could tell, Man-Thing was held by Lionsgate. The rest of the characters, pretty much the ones we're seeing now, all went to Paramount, or were deliberately held back from what I can tell. After Ang Lee's The Hulk bombed, Universal showed no interest in making another movie, so those rights went to the newly formed Marvel Studios, which rebooted the character as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel Studios was formed with the intention of creating a shared universe for all their characters, or at least the ones that they owned. In 2009, a little indie filmmaker named Disney stepped in and paid $4 billion cash for Marvel, lock, stock, and barrel. With everything Marvel now owned by the mouse, this put studios in the position of use it or lose it. There had to be a movie in production by a certain date in order for said studio to keep the rights to said characters. Some characters did come home. Daredevil was one of them. Feeling the pressure, Sony hired an inexperienced director in Mark Webb, a cheaper cast, and filmed what was essentially a tween-friendly version of Spider-Man, calling it a dark and gritty reboot. It was that formula that turned out to be the template for the upcoming Fox reboots of X-Men and the Fantastic Four. With a deadline looming, Fox hired director Josh Trank, who had made exactly one previous film, the critically acclaimed found footage movie Chronicle. They assembled a younger cast, including Kate Mara from House of Cards, Miles Teller, Jamie Bell, Toby Kebbell, and Michael B. Jordan, whom Trank previously worked with in Chronicle. With a script written by Simon Kinberg, whose previous films include X-Men Days of Future Past and Jumper, everything seemed to be in place. Trank and Kinberg were touting their version as a modern reimagining of the Fantastic Four. They were also promising a more realistic and dark and gritty feel, which is exactly what nobody asked for. But okay, you still had some out there saying, let's wait and see. So we waited. And waited. And waited. And waited. Months had gone by without so much as a publicity still or even concept artwork. There wasn't even a behind-the-scenes photo taken on a cell phone. Meanwhile, the cast were bad-mouthing fans in interviews and leaking plot details, which made the film seem like it was a directionless mess that resembled the Fantastic Four in name only. But okay, maybe they've got something up their sleeve. Maybe we should give them the benefit of the doubt. And then, this happened. Yeah, there you go, folks. This allegedly is what Dr. Doom is going to look like. The most badass villain in the Marvel Universe that George Lucas had said once was the inspiration behind Darth Vader, looks like he's wearing a costume that's left over from Logan's Run. Then came the news that for many fans was the straw that broke the camel's back. Actor Toby Kebbell let it slip in an interview that Dr. Doom was no longer Victor Von Doom, the ruler of Latveria, but was going to be renamed Victor Domashev and was going to be an angry Russian blogger known by the name Doom. Yeah, great idea, guys. So after months of silence and just one publicity still being released, we finally get a teaser for the Fantastic Four. Or at least they're telling me it's a teaser for the Fantastic Four. So, what are my impressions? There's really nothing in this trailer to indicate that this is the Fantastic Four other than a photoshopped logo at the end. When I first saw this, my first impression was that this looked like a fan trailer. There doesn't seem to be any distinct look to this, and feels like they've taken elements from every science fiction / action / video game that's been released over the last 5 years, adding some moody piano music and pretentious narration. You can see elements of everything from Prometheus, Man of Steel, Interstellar, Star Trek, X-Men, The Dark Knight Rises, even throw Mass Effect and Halo into that mix. It feels as though they're just referencing other things and not making an effort to have a distinct look of their own. They've even ripped off the pods from Alien for good measure. You can see they're going for a dark and gritty feel because, hey, there's no other colors besides black and gray. And I wouldn't doubt if this film took place in a lens-flare saturated world much like Star Trek and Man of Steel. Another major thing I find problematic is this constant referencing back to X-Men Days of Future Past. It's as if they have to glom onto the success of another film so that potential audience members will say, hey, I liked X-Men, so I'll probably like this too. But okay, you're probably sitting there saying, this is just a teaser, and maybe I could find more information on the website. Oh, except that when I went to the website, it stopped loading at 90%, and then I got a warning saying that Windows was running low on virtual memory. I've run Mixcraft, OpenOffice, and my video editing software all simultaneously, and none of them have caused me to run out of virtual memory. Listen guys, I could probably do another 2 or 3 episodes on this subject alone, and this most likely won't be the last episode I do on this, but the overriding point remains the same. We've come so far with superhero movies that all the changes they've made with the Fantastic Four, the containment suits, the dark and gritty feel rooted in realism, the making Doctor Doom a pissed-off Russian blogger, are all unnecessary. And that's because making a superhero movie now that's the same or as close as possible to the comics now works. The super soldier throwing a shield works. The space Viking with the magic hammer works. The millionaire in the high-tech suit of armor works. The supermodel secret agent works. The talking space raccoon and the walking tree works. And the homicidal robot with daddy issues, the artificial man, and the criminal riding an ant are going to work this summer. With everything I've seen with the Fantastic Four movies so far, it looks like they're going back to the early 90s all over again, when studios were embarrassed by these properties, and they had to make these changes because they were afraid of pouring that much money into something that could potentially have no chance of recouping that investment, because they were afraid that a character that wore yellow spandex was going to look stupid. And looking at the trailer, one can't help but think that this is actually a step backwards, and that the rumors of this film being a directionless, rudderless mess may be true. That Fox executives are most likely sitting there saying, we poured $120 million into this, what are we going to do now? And now they're trying their darndest to somehow make this thing work, which after all the ill will that's been spread, I doubt it can. I don't want to hate the Fantastic Four. I don't want to hate this movie. But you're not giving me any reason to like it either. See you next time. When my pilot light shining